This is every mic that I own, and today we are going to test them all to see which one is best for your YouTube studio or podcast setup. Let's get into it. Okay, so the microphones we are testing today are the affordable and sleek looking Rode Podmic, which retails for $100. The Rode Procaster, which is essentially its more expensive big brother, retailing for $170. The Behringer B1 studio condenser mic, retailing for $150. The Shure SM58, retailing for $100. The most famous podcasting mic, the Shure SM7B, which retails for $400. And for shotgun microphones, we have the Synco Mic D2 shotgun mic, which I'm recording with now, retailing for $200. The Octava MK-012 shotgun mic, $260. The Sennheiser ME66, which is no longer available but probably costs around $300. And the Sony ECM CX1, which comes free with the Sony K3M preamp module, which I'm currently recording on. Now I'm going to swap through some of these mics as I talk about my testing environment. Make sure you put on your headphones as you listen to these examples. So here's the deal. I will be testing all of these microphones right here in a pretty untreated room because I want to know which sounds best in what I would call a typical YouTube setup, which is just a corner of my kitchen/lounge where I can't have a whole bunch of audio treatment up on walls. For many of these tests, I've left my computer on with two 40TB Thunder Bay hard drives running because I want to know how much of that will be picked up by each mic and how much room noise you can get away with. You can see where my camera and microphones are being placed looking at this angle behind me. The other thing to note is that I'm getting a lot of reflections from my computer screen and desk when I use a shotgun mic placed above me in the typical fashion. So I'm thinking due to all the additional noise in this space, one of these broadcast/podcast microphones would be the best choice for the best quality sound in this environment. What I don't like about these style of microphones is that you have to have them in frame and they can feel a little too distracting when I'm trying to talk to you. So I've purposely used bad microphone technique in some of these tests to see how well they pick up my voice when I don't have the microphones right up next to my mouth. Now, I get it, this is not how they're meant to be used, but this is how I'd like to use them, if possible, when making videos. I'm also not doing any type of post-processing to these microphones because, again, I'm looking for microphones that sound great right out of the box. I want to start with a good sound and not fiddle around with EQ settings in post. This should give you a really good idea of how these mics sound at their worst, and hopefully that will help you make your own decision when you're thinking about a really fast, quick, and easy setup where you don't need to worry about doing lots of audio post work to get your mic sounding nice. To test the audio, I am recording all the microphones directly into the Sony FX3 XLR audio preamp module, which runs directly into the Sony A7 IV. Because the preamps on the FX3 handle are not very powerful, I am also using a cloud lifter to boost the signal of each of the broadcast microphones and keep the noise floor of each microphone low. However, this was not required for the shotgun microphones like this one. Stick around until the end where, after more tests, I break down my thoughts on each microphone and which I think you should buy and why. So this is what the Sony sounds like when you have it boomed just out of shot. And if you want to support me, it's really easy. You can just go ahead and head over to Amazon Prime or Tubi and watch my feature film Older for free. This is what the Synco Mic D2 sounds like when it's placed just above me in the traditional shotgun boom position. If you want to help support me or the channel, please watch my feature film Older, which is available for free on Amazon Prime and Tubi, and links are in the description. Okay, so now I am using the Sennheiser ME66. I'm booming it just above me here. And if you would like to support myself or the channel because you appreciate this content, the best thing you could do would be to go and watch my feature film Older, which is available for free on Amazon Prime and Tubi. Links are in the description. But this is the Octava MK-012 running directly into the Sony K3M on my A7 IV. And if you would like to support me or the channel, the best thing you can do is go to Amazon or Tubi and watch my feature film Older for free. Links in the description. Okay, so now I am using the Rode Procaster. I also have to use the cloud lifter with this one to bring up the levels for the Sony K3M. So this is what the Rode Procaster sounds like. This is the Rode Procaster now, and if you would like to support me or this channel, then you can watch my feature film Older, which is available for free on Amazon Prime and Tubi. Okay, so now this is the trusty Shure SM58, the super cheap Shure SM58, and if you would like to support me or this channel, you can watch my feature film Older, which is available for free on Amazon Prime and Tubi. Okay, so now we're rolling with the Shure SM7B. This is the Shure SM7B running into a cloud lifter. And if you would like to support me in this channel, the best way you can do that is go and watch my feature film Older, which is available for free on Amazon Prime and Tubi. And I've also got the Behringer B1, which is what you're listening to now. This is just what the Behringer B1 sounds like. And if you want to support my channel, the best way to do that would be to go and watch my feature film Older, which is available for free on Amazon Prime and Tubi. So this is what the Podmic sounds like in comparison to the SM58. And I'm just looking for difference in the audio. What is it picking up in terms of background by comparison? Does it sound any better? Obviously I can move it a little bit closer and I'm sure it sounds quite good really close, but I don't want the microphone this close to me when I'm trying to do video. So this is what the microphone will sound like if we have it where it should be placed, if we're just talking directly into the mic. But I don't like this extra arm situation here, so I'm probably going to have it a little bit lower. And now, just because we're here and we've done these tests, we have to test the OG Rode Procaster, the big brother of the Rode Podmic, and truthfully, the sort of podcasting microphone that I think is actually one of the best sounding. I think this is an absolutely amazing mic. Okay, and because we tested the Shure SM58 and it sounded so crispy and good, I just wanted to see if my ears were playing tricks on me and that the Podmic could also potentially sound as good. I haven't really changed any of the settings for the Podmic. It looks like it maybe is just a touch quieter, but I haven't adjusted the preamps or anything like that. This is a test with the Shure SM58, which I think has a really good sound. In fact, I think it has a better sound than this Rode Podmic. I feel like the audio is richer and it sounds better off the SM58. Okay, so what did you think? Which was your favorite sounding mic? Could I just use one of the shotgun mics boomed overhead above me? Or should I really just bite the bullet and be using one of the broadcast microphones and leave it in shot? Which sounded the best given the tricky audio environment? I'd love your feedback in the comments. My personal thoughts, first of all, everyone's voice is different, so what may not sound good for me might suit your voice perfectly, and vice versa. Also, this is all just preference, so take that into account, as I'm most definitely not an audio expert. I'm just telling you what sounded good to my ear. For the shotgun mics, I liked the Synco Mic D2 the most, as I felt it did a good job of isolating my voice and not keeping too much room noise, although in certain positions it did seem to catch a lot of reflections. I purchased this mic as a low-budget substitute for my Sennheiser MK-012, which is currently being fixed, and while it's certainly not as good, it's a great affordable alternative. The Octava was also surprisingly good here, but I always found it picks up a bit too much room tone. The Sennheiser ME66 is more designed as an on-camera shotgun mic and is great in that respect, but sounded a little bit too big and boomy in this environment, at least for me. Then there's the Sony ECM CX1, which was easily the worst of the shotgun microphones, and in fact generally just the worst microphone. Sounds terrible and is not a good option boomed overhead or closer to you, and is really a bit of a joke in my opinion. So avoid it at all costs. Sony, why you do this? In terms of the broadcast and podcast mics, this is where I thought the tests were really interesting. Now, I wanted to love the Podmic because it's cheap and it just has such a great look. It's also nice and compact, so great for having in-frame on video content. I just thought it absolutely did not complement my voice and sounded very thin and hollow, and it was also much less effective when not placed very close to my mouth. This was definitely my least favorite broadcast style mic. Now, its big brother, on the other hand, the Rode Procaster, is over twice the size, but I think it's at least 4 times as good in terms of audio quality. It really sounds very smooth and doesn't pick up too much room noise either. I love this microphone and I think it offers great all-round audio. But I just hate its form factor for video, as it's just so big and chunky in frame. If you're not bothered by the size, I think it's probably offers the best option for many people in terms of quality and price. And I think it's the mic you buy when you want something almost as good as the Shure SM7B, but you can't afford the SM7B. Now, the Behringer B1 was my first podcast microphone many years ago, and I still really think this does a pretty good job, but it does pick up a fair bit of room noise, and I don't really like its look. It needs to be pretty close for it to not get too boomy in this environment, so not really a mic that I would recommend. And now we come down to 2 microphones, and yes, if I had to choose the overall best mic, without considering price, I do think, unsurprisingly, the Shure SM7B is the best sounding microphone of the 9 that I tested. Look, there is a reason why people keep picking this mic for spoken word audio, and yeah, I don't know what secret sauce they put in this thing, but it just sounds so even and smooth, creamy, buttery smooth audio that's really hard to beat. But let's be realistic, you can't afford this mic. I can't afford this mic, and that's okay, because for me the real dark horse out of all the mics I tested was the Shure SM58. This mic has been sitting in my closet collecting dust, except for run and gun interviews, but man, I could not believe how good the SM58 sounded. It rejects room noise well, you can have it a little further from your mouth and it still sounds good, and best of all, it's only $100. I would happily use this mic for professional podcast or pieces to camera. It just has a really nice sound, and along with the Podmic, it is the cheapest microphone of all the ones I tested. It just seems to suit my voice really well and sounded better to me than everything except the Shure SM7B. The only downside to this microphone is its look. It looks like a cheap karaoke mic, and let's be real, looks do matter. Aesthetics are important for a microphone, especially one you're going to have in frame. But thankfully, I found a couple of simple solutions. By just popping one of these Rode WS2 windscreens over it, it now looks like a proper big mic and it still sounds excellent. Or you can purchase one of these, the Shure A2WS, which is actually designed to go on the Shure SM57. But if you remove the original microphone head, this will also fit on the SM58, which when added provides the microphone a much more sleek professional look that I'm very happy with. not bad for $100. So if I were to make a recommendation, because of how versatile and affordable this mic is, I would absolutely recommend the Shure SM58 as the overall best microphone for anyone on a budget. And aren't we all on a budget? If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. I hope this has helped you decide on your next microphone, and for those rocking similar home YouTube setups, I'd love to hear about your awesome mic solutions in the comments. As always, I am the Savage Filmmaker, and I'll see you when I see you. Can we just acknowledge that this took me over an hour to set up this YouTube thumbnail, and it's ridiculous. Okay, here we go.